This video provides overview of features in Trimble Business Center version 361 released in November 2015. For those that are new to TBC, TBC is a complete office software package for surveyors and mapping and GIS professionals. The software is available in 3 editions: Base, Complete, and Advanced, and we have 4 optional modules that can be placed on top of any edition. Advanced Drafting is a module focused on productivity and automation and plotting. Data Prep module is focusing on creating 3D models from 2D, CAD, and PDF data. GIS Module is a new addition to our software family, releasing in this version of TBC version 361. And Aerial Photogrammetry module is focusing on processing and generating deliverables from the Trimble UAS. Let's start with the GIS module. The problem we try to solve in this GIS module is the fact that generating a GIS deliverable for surveyors can be very challenging. And at the moment, the whole process involves a lot of rework, a lot of tweaking, importing, exporting, and the bottom line is that it takes way too long to generate a GIS-ready deliverable from survey data. The way we wanted to approach this problem is by seamlessly integrating with the GIS data source. Within the GIS module, you can directly connect to Enterprise Geodatabase, File Geodatabase, and a shapefile data provider, extract schema, update geometry and attributes directly without importing and exporting. The workflow looks like this. So first you connect to a GIS data source. Again, you connect to a file, enterprise, or shapefile data provider. Once you establish a connection, you extract schema and you create FXL. You may need to do some additional work where you can add your line control codes and symbology. Once you have done that, you go and collect and you process your field data. You do all of your QA/QC, and finally, when you are done, you integrate data directly into a geodatabase. So again, the idea is to completely streamline the workflow, minimize rework, and provide that direct integration to a database. You will notice a new ribbon tab called GIS that will guide you through this process and expose commands in a logical workflow. If for some reason you cannot use the direct integration, either because the schema doesn't exist yet, the client requires you to deliver a file-based format. For firewall or other restrictions, no connection is possible, or simply you want to archive the files you export, you can use file geodatabase format that we are exposing in this release as well. More on the GIS module is available in the TBC Power Hour recordings and in separate videos on our YouTube channel. On data review and editing side of things, we have enhanced our support for non-Trimble digital level file formats. So now you can bring in file formats that have variable row definitions, like in this example, this StarNet file. You can form your custom format import that will match exactly that file definition, and you can bring that level data into TBC. For your convenience, we have placed some of the common level file formats from other manufacturers in the import format editor, and you can see how that structure has been created. You have the ability to modify that structure or create new file format importers. On feature coding and attribution, we have a new layer manager both in TBC and feature definition manager that allows you more flexibility when you're managing layers in feature definition manager. So for example, you can bring in a CAD drawing or a template from third-party CAD software into TBC, and then within the layer manager in TBC, you can export those layers to feature definition manager, where you can use those layers to define them as your feature-based layers. So once you process the feature codes, everything is automatically on the layers you want, and when you export that back to those third-party CAD packages, you can get your layers intact. We have also added the ability to add symbols for the list attribute types. So previously, if you had like a tree feature class, you could only have one symbol for that tree. regardless of what is the list attribute value. So now if you have a tree that is a pine or a spruce or redwood, like in this example, for each one of those list attribute types, you can have a different symbol displayed. Also, you can now control the points that are part of the line or polygon features. So if you have a points, like in this example, points that are forming a gutter line, you can have those points to go on a different layer than layer 0 or layer points. And you can also control the labeling for those points. All those points come in automatically labeled. So if there's points for which maybe the elevation is critical, if you're doing flow line, those points can be automatically labeled with their elevation. Also, if you delete a line or a polygon features, once you process the feature codes, in previous versions of TBC, we would strip points from feature codes. In version 361, if you delete any line or polygon features, as you can see here, the feature codes remain intact. On survey computations and COGO, we have updated our baseline processor. So we have a new VRS processing mode. So when you bring in the static data and through the import wizard, you have the ability to check the VRS as the reference station type. What that will do is it will optimize the baseline processor and you will get much more reliable and more accurate results for any VRS derived base station. So if you have VRS derived base stations that you are bringing into TBC, make sure that you toggle down this drop down list and you choose the VRS for the reference station type. We have also enabled the exporter for the Applanix SmartBase service. If you're not familiar with the Applanix SmartBase service, it's a service that based on your location and based on the available infrastructure around you, it will compute a VRS base station in the center of your trajectory. So the input for the SmartBase service is just a set of positions, and based on the positions, you will get a base station or you will get a static file in return that you can then bring into TBC and use for post-processing. In the Coordinate System Definition Manager, we have added EPSG ID to coordinate systems. So that way you can make sure that your coordinate systems that you're using are matching the international standard, or if you're exchanging the coordinate systems across multiple packages, that EPSG ID should serve as a unique identifier for that coordinate system and give you some confidence that you are using exact same system definitions. Also, we are automatically updating Coordinate System Manager when new version with additional system is installed. And it's very important that we keep all of your custom systems intact, so you don't have to worry about this. Same as previously, all of your custom defined coordinate systems are going to remain as they are. And this is just kind of a getting rid of one manual step where before you had to update these on demand. Now, if you recognize there's new systems, we just add them to your coordinate system database. We also have some new systems in the Coordinate System Manager, as you can see from the list here. On CAD and drafting, we talked about Layer Manager. So the Layer Manager replaces new layers and layer options command. As you can create layers here, you can exchange layers, you can edit and modify layers. When you create new CAD objects, notice in the layer list, if you scroll all the way to the down, you will see a link to the Layer Manager where you can create a new layer and assign that layer to your newly created object. We have also added the ability to group layers, so you will notice a new command called Layer Group Manager to group layers into a common structure and allow you to quickly manage and navigate through the layers. On the advanced drafting side of things, we've added the tables to plotting profiles. So in version 360, we added the ability to plot profiles for your corridors and alignments. And now we have further enhanced that. So in some countries where you are required to plot these in a table view, you can display or you can plot your alignments in a table view as shown here. We have also further enhanced the CAD Grips, and now we can grab a line string, and if you select an endpoint of your line string and you hold the control key down, you can move your line string around. Also for polylines, if you have a polyline, you can double click in a midpoint of your polyline and it will curve your polyline. So just a further ability to move things around just by using grips in order to modify and draw more efficiently. We've improved our interface to Bentley, so we have some updates to the libraries that support DGN with support for some additional objects. On terrestrial photogrammetry, we have done some updates to V10 Adjustment, so we can now handle compass inaccuracies much better. This data set here, for example, would not even process in the earlier versions of TBC. Now, if you just add one manual type point here, the data set will process just fine. Previously, in order to get it to process, you would have to add a large number of manual type points. Now that need to add manual type points has significantly reduced. And in addition to that, we support South Azimuth systems, so coordinate systems like in Czech Republic or South Africa are much better handled. On the aerial photogrammetry side of things, we have a new exciting addition to our portfolio, which is the UX5HP that allows us to minimize the number of ground control points that need to be used. In case of UX5HP, we log static files during the flight, and then we post-process those files in TBC to generate a trajectory as shown here in the screen. And after that, you can just follow the process you are used to and generate deliverables such as orthomosaics and point clouds as shown here. We also have a new exciting flight mission report. It gives you a much more graphical representation of the flight overview, type point distributions, things like image residuals, exterior orientation, GNSS statistics that will help you better understand what was going on. Instead of just giving you dry numbers, we now try to kind of in a very descriptive way demonstrate how successful your adjustment was so you can get much better idea of the whole process. Also, we have updated our UAS engine so we can address more challenging data sets by supporting image angles of up to 30 degrees, better correction of heading directions, and much better blunder detection. So you will notice a significant improvement in TBC version 361 in terms of success rate on your aerial photogrammetric processes. You can also export a flight mission. So if you process data from UX5HP and you use TBC baseline processing to do that, after the processing, if you want to carry on and complete the photogrammetric deliverable process in other package like info or US master, you can use the flight mission exporter and you can export that information, continue adjusting and processing your US data in US master. Also for users of South Azimuth systems, now we support South Azimuth defined systems in our aerial photogrammetric process. On machine control side of things, we have added support for the latest PCS 900, so you can export and import data from PCS 900 version 2.1 and 2.2 using either the field data or the machine job site design exporter. In general software improvements, we've added a reminder to save your projects. So if you're working with heavy projects, you don't want to risk losing your data, you can set a reminder and you can make sure that you save your projects and not lose any of your valuable data. Just to summarize, we have an exciting new addition called GIS Module that streamlines the GIS data integration. We've done a lot of improvements and cleanup on top of version 360. We have completed the support for any level data now, so you can either key in or you can bring in any digital level data file into TBC and incorporate into your network adjustment processes. We have new CAD workflows with the layer manager, improvements around feature coding, and support for the UX5 HP and more robust terrestrial and aerial photogrammetry data handling. For more information, please download TBC at the website listed here. You can ask your Trimble distributor for a demo license. You can play with tutorials and watch other videos on TBC survey channel on YouTube and follow us on Facebook. Thank you for your attention, and that completes our overview video of features in TBC version 361.